8 minutes. That's all it took. 8 minutes to break into the most visited museum on the planet in broad daylight.
Hunt is underway for thieves after priceless jewels were stolen from one of the world's most famous museums.
With tourists still inside, and walk out with priceless pieces of French royal history. No masks, no elaborate tunnels, no inside man disabling the system the night before. Just 4 men, a truck, a power tool, and the sheer audacity to do what everyone thought was impossible. This is the story of the Louvre Museum robbery, and it's more jaw-dropping than anything Hollywood has ever put on screen. It was a perfectly normal Tuesday morning in Paris. The Louvre Museum opened its doors at 8 a.m., as it does every day. Security guards took their positions. Tourists from across the world, families, students, art lovers, poured through the entrance. Everything was routine. Everything was calm. By 8:30 a.m., the museum had been open for just 30 minutes. Then, on the side of the building facing the River Seine, something unusual happened. A truck, the kind typically used to lift furniture to upper floors, pulled up and parked against the museum wall. It had a mechanical lift attached to it. Inside that truck were 4 men. They were wearing yellow and orange high-visibility vests, the kind construction workers wear. Their faces were completely hidden behind full-face balaclavas. They weren't there to deliver furniture. 2 of the men immediately activated the mechanical lift and rode it straight up to a first-floor balcony. A balcony that leads directly into one of the most spectacular rooms in the entire museum, the Gallery of Apollo. This is the very gallery where the French crown jewels are kept on display. But to get inside, there was one major obstacle: a thick, reinforced glass wall. No problem. Within seconds of reaching the balcony, one of the men pulled out an industrial-grade disc cutter from his bag and sliced straight through the glass, creating a hole just large enough to squeeze through. The museum's general alarm went off. Guards in the gallery spotted the intruders. But the thieves didn't even flinch. They held up their power tools, essentially threatening the guards, and kept working. The guards, following protocol, immediately began evacuating tourists from the gallery. And while the museum descended into chaos, while guards herding panicking visitors toward the exits, those 2 men calmly and methodically smashed open display cases, grabbed 9 priceless artifacts, squeezed back out through the cut glass, and rode the lift back down to the street. Their 2 accomplices were already waiting below, on scooters. They jumped on, and they were gone. Total time inside the museum, 4 minutes. Total time for the entire operation, truck, lift, glass cutting, robbery, escape, 8 minutes. As they fled, the thieves tried to set the truck on fire to destroy any fingerprints or DNA evidence they may have left behind, but a brave museum staff member intervened and stopped them before the fire could take hold. The gang escaped along the riverbank, onto the Boulevard Périphérique, Paris's ring road, and disappeared down the A6 motorway. France was in shock. Now, what exactly was taken? When investigators assessed the losses, a wave of grief swept across the country. Because what was stolen wasn't just expensive, it was irreplaceable. According to France's Ministry of Culture, 8 items were confirmed stolen. The thieves had actually grabbed 9, but 1 item fell on the street during their escape. That item was the Crown of Empress Eugénie, the wife of Napoleon III, a tiara crafted specifically for her in 1855. As the thieves were forcing it through the narrow cut in the glass, it got stuck, was badly damaged, and eventually fell onto the road, leaving scratches across it. The museum director later said repairs might be possible, but for the 8 pieces that vanished, there is no recovery. Those 8 items were a tiara and brooch belonging to Empress Eugénie, an emerald necklace and matching earrings from the collection of Empress Marie-Louise, Napoleon Bonaparte's second wife, a sapphire tiara, necklace, and earring set from the collections of Queen Marie Amelia and Queen Hortense, and a rare decorative piece known as a reliquary brooch. All of these pieces dated from the 19th century. Together, they contained thousands of diamonds, emeralds, sapphires, and other precious stones. In raw material value, experts estimate around $2 million, but as artifacts of French royal history, they are priceless. Some historians say not even $1 billion could compensate for what was lost. Here's what makes this even more fascinating. The Gallery of Apollo also houses the Regent Diamond, one of the most famous diamonds in the world, valued at over $60 million. sitting right there. The thieves ignored it completely. They also left behind the Sancy and Hortensia diamonds, also kept in the same gallery. Investigators believe this was a targeted, commissioned robbery. Someone out there already knew exactly what they wanted. These men had a shopping list, and they stuck to it.
When the investigation began, the findings were staggering. French media reported that in the section of the museum where the robbery took place, 1 in every 3 rooms had no CCTV cameras at all, in the world's most visited museum. The external cameras that were installed also failed to fully cover the balcony where the thieves entered. But here's the part that truly shocked France. Senator Nathalie Goulet told the BBC that the balcony had its own localized alarm system, one that would have immediately alerted security the moment anyone stepped onto it. That alarm had broken down just days before the robbery. If it had been working, the heist may never have happened. The museum's director acknowledged the security failures publicly and immediately submitted her resignation to the Ministry of Culture. The resignation was not accepted. And here's the thing, this wasn't the first time. In 1911, a former Louvre employee stole the Mona Lisa, hiding it under his coat and walking straight out. The painting wasn't recovered for 2 years until the thief tried to sell it in Italy. Ironically, that robbery is what made the Mona Lisa the most famous painting in the world. In 1976, 3 thieves broke through a window and stole King Charles X's sword, which has never been recovered. And in 1998, thieves pulled a painting clean off the wall in broad daylight and disappeared. That painting is also still missing. And now, 27 years later, this.
As of now, over 100 investigators are working the case. Police collected nearly 150 DNA samples and fingerprints from the scene, from helmets, gloves, and the interior of the truck. On Saturday, October 25, 2025, just 6 days after the robbery, police arrested 2 suspects with strong links to the crime. One of them has a prior record for gold theft. Both were identified through DNA matching. The stolen items, however, have not yet been recovered. The Louvre reopened on October 2nd, but the Gallery of Apollo remains closed. Paris prosecutors said it best. This is not a financial loss. This is a loss of French history. The investigation is ongoing, and somewhere out there, 8 pieces of royal French heritage are waiting to be found. If you made it this far, drop a comment. Do you think they'll ever recover the stolen jewels? And don't forget to like and share this video. See you in the next one. And I mentioned the Mona Lisa theft, but trust me, that story deserves its own video entirely. Because what actually happened in 1911 is wilder than any heist film. One man, no team, no weapons, no elaborate plan. He simply hid inside the museum overnight, waited for morning, lifted the Mona Lisa off the wall, wrapped it in a blanket under his coat, and walked straight out the front door like nothing happened. The most famous painting in the world, gone in broad daylight, and nobody noticed for 26 hours. We've covered the full story in detail, exactly how he did it, how he lived with a painting for 2 years, and the one mistake that finally got him caught. Link is right there. Watch it next. You won't regret it.